Hello, this is Lisa Russick with the podcast We Are All Psychic. Yes, I think today on July 20th, maybe. I'm losing time, but it's in July of 2025. I do still think we're all psychic, more than ever. Times have been real interesting in my personal life. And, I really like talking to you guys when things are kind of rough, because you make me feel better, so thank you for listening. Today I want to talk to you about if you've this is for like newer people who've never had a psychic reading or who've only had maybe a few types. I want to go over the different types of psychic readings that I've had experiences with or that I've heard of. I mean, there are so many different types that you can generalize under reading, and I've really found this out working at Cosmic Connections in Nashville, Tennessee, in the United States. It's just... I have had readings with most of the readers there, and they're all, I call them readings, but everybody there specializes in something, and they all do everything. It's like when they hired me, they're kind of like, well, what do you do? And I was like, I do this, this, this. We're like, well, what would you do here? And I was like, well, what would you need me for? And like, well, we could do this or this. We had to work out like something to make me stand out as being different and that no one else offered, and that was palmistry. We get requests for tarot readings. So in this podcast, I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to tell you about my personal experiences that I've had with different types of readings, and my first reading I ever had. I'll tell you that experience. And from someone else that I remember being accurate, not someone reading out of a book or something. I think I've told it on the podcast before, but and I'll tell my first paid psychic reading story. And I'll talk about other healing sessions I've had that were energy. They're readings, but they're energy sessions, as I think was what you called them. I'll explain that too. There are workers at Cosmic Connections who do these kinds of energy working type modalities. And if you listen to the podcast and you're a regular, you've heard us discuss this before, like Angelina. If you're a regular and you've heard Angelina on here, we don't know what box she fits in. We can't put a label on her. I was like, most of us, we don't have labels for what we do because it's all so unique because we're all so unique and we heal in our own unique ways, other people and ourselves. And that's how we learn to heal us. We heal ourselves. And then through readings, we heal others who want to be healed and ask for it. And that's what they come to us for. That's what we expect. That's what we think anyway. That's what we're here for. That's how we think on our end. And when you're coming for it, we do it each differently. Like I really like to incorporate a personal touch, and if anyone out there is open to this, listeners, watchers, this is a video podcast on Spotify and YouTube. Any random listener or watcher that I have not met before and never spoken to before and who has never had a tarot reading or any kind of reading at all, and you listen to this podcast and this one already, write me at lisa@weareallpsychic.com and let me know if you will do this. I will give you a free reading on the podcast. Of course, it'll be a free reading. But I'll give you a reading if you'll do a podcast with me so we can demonstrate what someone's first reading looks like and what it feels like. Because a lot of people are afraid to get a reading because they've never had one. And I'd really like to do that with someone who has never had a reading. And if you're in Nashville, even better, we could do it in person. So there's just a little bloop, bloop. I'll try to remember to add that again at the end. First, I'm going to talk about the different types of readings, not my personal experiences, but the different types there are. And I think everybody's heard of basically a tarot reading. You see them on YouTube or you maybe see them out and about in shops doing cards. Tarot cards. I just got this at Cosmic Connections today. They sell everything that I love there. Everything. I think I have almost all of their tarot decks, and I've been looking at this one for a very long time, and this one is just so beautiful. I love Art Nouveau tarot decks, and I haven't had one for a while. A new one. I've only had one or two of them before, and this one is just so beautiful. It's part of what we love about this stuff. It's beautiful. It's the beautiful things about life. It makes the beautiful things even more beautiful and the hard things like a lesson and something that is meant to happen for a good reason. A good one for you. For some reason, it's good. Maybe it's good for someone else that you love. A reading can expand your thinking. But there are tarot readings, and all tarot readings, tarot readers will be different. Some will want to give you the straight truth, and they want you to take their advice. Most readers do have the point they hit with that on our end. They don't usually take our advice. It's okay with me. I don't care. I just really want to know what you feel, and I want to make you happier. And you can talk it out and make your experiences. You get to feel out your decisions. Maybe you will listen to me. Maybe you won't. Maybe you already want to do that. I usually don't take the advice. I do most of the time if it's well put. That's very important. Delivery. So this is where the different types of divination tools, if you want to call them that, talk about that first for a second. Like cards. Tarot cards are a tool, a divination tool. These aren't anything unless I'm using them and I'm interpreting them. And someone's interpreting them. And you're sitting there interpreting them on your own from what I'm saying and looking at them on your own intuition, listening and the reading. Or you could see a pendulum, and the pendulum, I don't have one handy, but it's like a heavy object on a string or a chain, and it goes, we have podcasts about those. And they say yes or no usually. These are divination tools that are meant for the reader, not you. And you, I guess, for you to get your intuition involved as well, but that can be done through speech and without tools too. But it really engages the imagination to use the tools. And as we practice with them, when you come in to a reading with a tarot reader, you're going to experience what that tarot reader has learned throughout their life and whatever they have learned at that point in their life, and what they have learned about the tarot at that point in their life, and how they want to tell you about it. So probably they're going to really be excited that you've never had a reading, because it's always so much fun to give someone a reading for the first time. And I have had a lot of experiences giving readings for the first time because I do a lot of events. I used to when I could more physically. I was able to more when I was younger. And I love events because it's just like people, hours and hours. It's exhausting, but it's so fulfilling. And they've never had readings, most of them. So it's just like delightful. They're just like, this is so cool. And they realize it's not what they thought it was. And most people have a negative connotation to what a reading is if they have no idea what it is. It's about healing. It's about going deeper. It's about taking yourself in there. Where? In you. What you need, what you talk about, what you feel, what's your life about. That's what the reading's about. How it's delivered to you is what happens. How you receive it is what happens in the reading. Most readers, every reader I have ever had a reading with at Cosmic Connections, definitely, and definitely on Everclear as well. Everclear and Cosmic Connections, any reader I've had a reading from, they have been like the most sincere healers. They've been like really wanting to, even if we weren't in the mood to, you could just feel them moving my energy and healing me just because that's what they do. Even if they're tired and they don't got it, man, they are given anyway. And they give just as much as they always do because they're healers and they know how to do it, and they love doing it. It heals us too when we do readings. So a typical tarot reading, you have some cards laid out in patterns. So the card stands for something and where it is placed on the floor or the chair or the table or whatever. Usually a table. I don't know why I said the floor. But sometimes I sit on the floor with people, in like houses and stuff and do it. But I used to a long time ago. Anyway, like I said, you just never know how it's going to happen. But the card has a meaning. And reversed, if you want to do it that way, it has a meaning. And where it is placed in what's called a spread has a meaning. So the reader will read the cards in that connotation. In that setup, in that way. That's how the tarot is read. There's lots of philosophy about tarot. We can go into it. We've done that. We can go there again. So talk about divination, that's just how that one works. So most readers will just read the cards and feel you. A lot of readers will mirror you because they're empaths. And they put up mirror kind of energy. And so they're going to be like however you are kind of. So if you're feeling a way and they're kind of a way, recognize that because that's you probably. And they're letting you see it and they're gentle because you probably don't feel like they're angry or anything or upset or mad or anything. You feel them wanting to help you so bad. Stuff like that. I just saw one of the readers at Cosmic Connections, Janet. I think I talked about this one. Maybe I didn't, but I went in there and I was feeling a way, and I didn't know. I went for a reading. I was just feeling some kind of way, and I didn't know what it was. By the end of the reading, I just went, oh, and I felt something come off my face. It felt like, and I was like, there goes my defensiveness. And she's like, I was waiting for you to say it. I wasn't going to want to say it. I was waiting for you to say you were defensive. And she does mirror. And I've had a lot of readers that they mirror. And then there are readers who are very serious. And it really takes you somewhere. I mean, it takes you to like another, like, trance kind of place. Akasha, my friend Akasha gives readings like that sometimes. You feel like time bending. You feel inside you, the energy is coming up in your throat and through your higher chakras, changing into her, what she's tuning into you. And you feel her, I smell her energy in the clairsmelliance kind of way. And she has a very specific smell when she does her magic or her energy work. She calls hers magic. So, but when she does her reading, she's incorporating her magic, her energy. It's all energy. She's moving the energy for you because she's a healer. Now, she will say she's doing a reading, and she does take you to that place where you're like, it's very serious. And this is like, look, you came for a reading. You're going deep with me, whether you like it or not. And you do like it. You do, because you needed to go there. That's why you were called to her to begin with. That's why you trust your intuition when you go to a reader. When you pick one, it's hard to pick one if you've never done it before. Always go with your intuition. I always go with that face that just says, like, I like you. And to everybody. There's something about the eyes. I don't know. I look for the eyes and when I go through like pictures. I also look at names, and sometimes names stand out, or certain numbers will stand out, or something in their bio stands out to me that I can relate to, that's calling to me. There are a few readers on Everclear that specifically state they like to work with psychics. So I will like, oh, that's something I look for, you know? So another thing that I've learned more about at Cosmic Connections is the energy healing type of work, not just like Reiki. You've heard us talk about Reiki a lot on the podcast. And, you know, I do Reiki. I'm a Reiki practitioner. And we've had a lot of Reiki practitioners on the podcast. And we've also had angel healers, and like Sheila's an angel healer. And we've had, like when we've talked about how she does an angel healing, she's just sent. She says sending and sent. She just sends it, and it's really fast. And it heals almost instantly, and the pain stops or whatever she's sending it for. And if it doesn't, you get a message as to why it won't, why you're supposed to feel it, is what I've had the experience of. And she is just laid back, down to earth, and will talk to you, and she will understand. And Sheila, she's a friend. If you don't know what I'm talking about, did a podcast a long time ago on, I think, our first season maybe. And she's been, I always call her the angel lady, but she's been a big influence in my life. I was in a Facebook group with hers as a reader for a little while. And I mean, we weren't paid. This was just I was sick at the time. I think I just had my hysterectomy, and I think I had, no, it wasn't then. I was sick with something else. Probably my foot. But, so I was in her group, and I did readings for free, and I got to know her, and I understood and learned a lot about angels. And, a lot of crazy things happened that summer. And Sheila is just dear to my heart. And, but you can talk to her about anything, she'll understand. You feel someone understand you in a reading. That's what should happen, I think. I would say every reading I've had, at some point when I felt understood, it worked. That's all I needed. I just needed to feel understood. And that's energy. Feeling understood is not emotional. That's energy, right? It's not an emotion. Feeling understood is not an emotion. That's an energetic feeling, right? You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? On the energy healing side of things that I'm learning more about through the modalities I'm watching people do at Cosmic Connections, most of them say, I don't know what to call what I do. And we've talked about that before, I think, on the podcast with other people. What do we call it? So I'll tell you kind of the experiences I've had with some of them. I think I've talked about Lori's, where she moved the energy from me. She asked me to go to my inner child, and there was a meditation involved, and I felt her moving the energy. I felt it move out of me. I can still feel it do it. If I imagine and remember, I can feel it. that part that we talked about needing to be expressed and come out and understood. And it was. And I felt understood, and it was released. And she moved it. And I guess because I'm sensitive, I think anyone would have felt that, though. And it felt great. I felt light afterwards, and I felt healed, and I felt understood. And then I saw Janet, and Janet was the one I just told you about, and I felt understood the minute that defensiveness came down. And what she said to me was, she got me excited. She said, go home, start drawing. She said, you don't have to restrict yourself. You can still be creative no matter what your restrictions are right now, because that's what I was being a bitch about. And because sometimes, you don't feel good when you go for a reading for the first time even. You're like, okay, let's do this. And I was kind of not in a good mood. And that's why I went for a reading. I wanted to heal. Really wanted to heal. And she did. She healed me. Oh, hush, you phone. I don't need to talk to you right now. So, let's see, another one. And when I asked her what she did, she's like, I do whatever people need. And when we worked at a psychic fair, she would often do crystal work or meditation work and other sound work, sound healing. I mean, I'm doing a sound healing series. There's a lot you can do with sound. And I haven't done sound healing 4 yet because I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to record it. But it's going to be cool. And the sound healing can do a lot. And there's also kind of like spiritual path, but not like spiritual path, but like life path. How do you put this? There are sessions or readings or something like where they're kind of like Buddhist type mentality where you're trying to live a certain kind of life, not like a cult. No, like try a mindfulness life, and these are spiritual practices from around the world that people teach in America. You might hear of them. There's one at Cosmic Connections who does something like that, if I understand correctly. And she's always so full of joy when I see her. I haven't had a reading from her yet, but she's cool. And, but I don't understand. I think that's kind of what she does, ancestral work and stuff like that. And there's a shaman up there. I only met her once, but she's right before a whole bunch of Fit Tit the Shan back in last January. She saw me, she took one look at me, we introduced each other, she took one look at me and she's like, oh, can I give you some protection? And she's just like, bloop, 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 bloop. And I felt it and I was like, thank you. And she's awesome. And there's Gina, and she's the first person I had a reading from Cosmic Connections with. And it was really good. And it was kind of funny because I don't want to talk about it, but Gina, if you ever see this, you know why it's funny. So anyway, I think that's everybody up there. Oh no, and Elle I met in a Muscle Shoals Expo, and she doesn't work there anymore, I don't think, but her reading was really interesting. I'd never had a reading like this. She asked me to blow into her face, basically. She says, just take a deep breath, and I think she got me in a deep state first, like a kind of meditative state, maybe. She's like, take a deep breath and then blow it out in my face. And so I was, and I felt something like, and she started choking. And I was like, what did I do? She's like, I have to go outside and get some air. I gotta get some air. I was like, oh my gosh, what happened? And then she came back. She's like, no, it's no problem. That happens sometimes. And she cut the deck into 3 piles. And she used an oracle deck, I think. And she asked me to pick a pile. And I picked the one in the middle that was the thinnest. For some reason, I was drawn to one that was big and fat because I thought I'd get to use all the cards. But I was really drawn to that middle one. And she gave me a reading saying I was a starseed. And her coworker, where the woman working the expo with her, was also a starseed. And they're some of the first people who've told me that kind of thing. And her reading, I was like, wow, I could resonate with a lot of what she said, but I'm still like, I don't know about that one, if I am or not, or what that, I just don't know. But that was a really badass reading. We didn't just talk about that. We talked about lots of stuff that came up in the cards as far as my spiritual work and my feelings about it and what I go through, and what's coming. Thank you, Elle. Gosh, and then on Everclear, I mean, Miriam has given me dozens of readings, and her pick-a cards are just amazing. On her YouTube channel of pick-a cards, she has this like kind of dry sarcasm, but when you need that emotional touch, she just takes all the pain away and fills it with understanding. And she does it through talking and empathy, and you just feel her do it. And it's really her voice. Her voice kind of carries you through it. And Donna does that too. Donna, who's been on the podcast, and she's on Everclear, she can really say what you can't say. Donna, she can say what you can't say, and she can find your words, and she'll help you find them if she doesn't have them for you. She always knows how to put something a different way to where you feel better about it and about yourself, and you feel like Donna totally gets this. She does, because she knows everything. Donna, right? Does Donna not know everything, you regular watchers and listeners? And let's see, I've had readings from Sumaya, and it's awesome. I had a chat with her. I can't remember, it was a while ago. I've done a couple chats with Sumaya, and she's always right. She's always right. And who else is always right? All of them. But most of the phone and chat readings are all different too. You don't know what to expect, except they're faster because of the per minute rate, I think. I'm always a lot faster in person too, because I've done more phone work than I have in person. And when I have been doing in-person readings, are usually at events where I don't have much time. So I've learned to do them very quickly, and I like it that way. I'm a sped up person anyway, because I'm genetically made to be in fight or flight all the time. So, that. Anyway, that's another reason your reading's always going to be different, is because your reader is a different person every time. So if you don't resonate with your reader, it doesn't mean your reading is definitely going to work. Maybe your reader and you just don't connect. You may go for your first reading and think, man, this person's kind of not working for me. And then think all readings are like that. They're not, because the reader is just as different as your reading. There are just as many variables. There's just as many different types of readings as there are readers. And put the two together and mix them up. Like I said in the first podcast, we need a new dictionary. Who wants to take that on? Oh, we'll do that to the AI. Oh, I'll tell Xander, guys. I'll tell Xander. So listeners, I'd like to thank Everclear. Everclear is my sponsor. Everclear is the advice app. Everclear advice app on Google Play and Apple Play, Apple Store and Google Play. Oh gosh, they're going to kill me. And you can get advice from psychics and empaths to get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. And I am Lisa Russick there. I'm Lisa Russick at Cosmic Connections. You can see me in person at Cosmic Connections, and I'm on their remote calendar too during the week. And let's see. You can find any good readers at any of these places. Either of these places. I have just been amazed by the quality of talent and oh gosh, I didn't even talk about Bertana at Cosmic Connections. Her readings, I mean, she gets right to the root of what is like spiritually the issue, and like, I don't know, something about her, like she has this, like, talk about feeling understood. She just looked at me when I'm from it. I don't know, I just have a good connection with Bertana, I think. Also, but I just felt understood when I met her right away. I felt like she just got me. And I think that might bother some people to feel like that. I liked it because I feel like she saw like who I really am. And I don't usually feel that way with people. I get a lot of projections, which is what my human design says. And I've complained about that all my life. Like, why do people project onto me all the time? Why do they think I'm this way when I'm really this way? I said this, and then they rephrase my words for me. Why do they do that? So human design says it's because I have a 5 in this certain place in my chart. And that 5 means that people project onto me. So you might get a human design reading. This will be very technical. You might get an astrology reading. This will be like, someone more technical as well, somewhat. Well, this is different. Astrology is really different because you just never know. All astrologers deliver very differently. I've had probably about 5 chart reads, natal chart readings, and paid a good bit for them. And I have them recorded, and I've listened to them a few times again and again. And no, I've had one Vedic as well with Miles, who I think he's still on Everclear, and he did a podcast about Vedic astrology, I think in our 2nd or 3rd or 4th season, 5th, I don't know, he was in there. And he talks about, so there's Vedic astrology, which is Eastern astrology. So that's a different kind of astrology. And there's lots of different types of astrology in Western astrology. Yeah? And there's also, I just found out, heliotropic, I think that's right, astrology, where it's based on the sun being the center, not the earth. And that's just fascinating. So I took that to my chat GPT Xander, and he played with it. And of course, right here with my robotic voice, because it's Mercury Gatorade, Mercury retrograde erased my audio, and I'm trying to record to let you know that happened. And isn't this interesting? Anyway, that's a mystery. I think I'll have to call a psychic. So at this point, I'm going to tell you a couple of short stories about when I had my first readings. I had my first reading ever from Roxanne in Phoenix when I was 20. It was a tarot reading. It was 28 at Coachella. And we were outside drinking champagne on the first day, and we were about to go. It was in the morning. We ate some food, and we were drinking champagne, and she gave us all tarot readings. My cousin Andrew came. I can't remember anything about it, though. Not a single thing, except that Andrew came, his spirit. And I thought it was awesome. And I said to her, isn't Andrew just awesome? Because I could feel him around. At that time, I was working with spirits. And she's like, well, I don't know him. I thought that was funny. And and then after the reading, I said, oh, he's going to hang around. She said, now he'll depart. And I said, he'll probably hang around. He likes music festivals. He's a musician. She's like, yeah, I think he is going to hang. Yeah, he's going to hang around. And I do see them together sometime. They're spirits. It's weird. I don't know if I just expect that. So I told you before, sometimes what you get is what you expect. So second one from a professional I had was when I lost my engagement ring, and I called a phone line. I've talked about this before. And she told me a cat had picked it up and carried it and put it under a table. My cat did pick up shiny objects and carry them around. That was Cloud, a cat I had a long time ago. And couldn't find it. So my 10 minutes for $3 were up or whatever. So I hung up. And I was bummed, because I knew she'd find it. I had faith. And then I turned the light on, and it was right where she said it was. I just didn't see it because I didn't have a light on. It was dark in that house. So that was really cool. That was really cool. And I didn't trust the phone psychics at all. I was like, that's kind of weird stuff. That's Miss Cleo. I like Miss Cleo, though. I do like Miss Cleo. I mean, I would think that way. I'd be like, I do like her. I do want a reading from her. I freaking do. She makes me feel happy when I see her. I want to be doing what she's doing. Is that a thing people do? Is that real? Yes, it is. Yes, it's very cool, too. And you will get healed if you want to, if you will work on yourself and take the advice of your advisors and listen to them. You don't have to do everything. Follow your intuition first. Always get lots of readings is my advice. As many as you can afford on your subjects. Not like throw your money on, like overspend or anything. But, if you can get a lot, like your free ones or whatever you can get a lot of points of view, even from friends who do cards. Maybe just don't take it. Just take what, you may hear the terms, take what resonates and leave the rest. What that means is if I'm giving you a reading and about 3/4 of it you really feel like is accurate for you, and 1/4 of it you're like, I don't know anything about what she's talking about, that 1/4 doesn't belong for you. It's just not even, maybe it comes up later, but it's not important. It's just kind of junk. It's like DNA, junk DNA. It does have a purpose, but we don't know what yet, or something. Psychic babble. So that's kind of what that means. And it's also when you hear that a lot when people are doing video readings in general, because they don't know who they're talking to exactly, of course. Or do they? Now there's thinking. I was about to talk about a couple other different kinds, but I think we're at a good place. I think we're at a good place where you have a good understanding of what you'd walk into if you walked into an in-person reading, and what to expect if you call. And if you do a chat reading, which is when you text reading on your phone through like Everclear or something like that, or someone on Messenger or Instagram, you would usually have a time limit, and they would, most of them have some kind of copy and pasted thing that they just put in the chat right away to explain their rules and stuff. But I just say, hey, what's up? You can do it however you want. You don't know what to really expect when you do that. But they won't take up a bunch of time, with rules or things they can't teach you or tell you about. Like legally, we're not allowed to give readings on pregnancy, on legal matters, and on health. We can't legally give readings on those. And just this year, I had to get insurance working as a psychic. I had to get liability insurance. Isn't that something? Isn't that great? I thought it was rad. I don't want to pay it, but I think it's rad. I'm happy about it. I mean, it means we're taken seriously. We're helping people. That's what it means, right, guys? Right? Isn't that what that means? We're helping people. Because why else would we need liability insurance? Because then that means that people are taking us seriously, and some people are maybe getting hurt from it. Yeah. So we need liability insurance because they don't always take our advice, like I said. A lot of times they don't. A lot of times we hear some really horrible things, guys. And you have to tell some really private things sometimes. And it's hard. And we know that. And that's when the understanding really comes in for a reading. Because you're not getting judged. We aren't people when we do that. We're like channeling something for you that's just for you. That is what we do. We try to understand you, try to help you, and try to make you smile. Make you feel better about what is going on in your life. Give you some direction. At least peace of mind. That's what you can hope from a reading, I think. And you probably get it from any ethical, true, happy healer. Or even an unhappy one. They know how to heal really well. And listeners, with that, love you and thank you as always for watching and listening. And thank you so much, so much, so much. And thank you for all your support lately. And I will see you next week. Maybe. We have a whole bunch of podcasts. I have 4 scheduled. And it's going to be a good time. And Bertana, who I just spoke of, I didn't talk about her readings, but she'll be on the show. She's coming on Tuesday. So we'll get to see, I think Monday, Tuesday. I don't know. But you'll get to see her and find out what she do. She do all kinds of things. She's a teacher too. A history teacher. Isn't that fascinating? So anyway, yeah, it's fascinating. I think people are fascinating, though. It's one of the things I like doing this stuff for. I mean, spirituality is personal. But one of the reasons I love doing this with my spirituality in a public way with the podcast and in a private way with my clients and in a work way with my clients is because I love it. I think it is a calling. Thank you, listeners. Love you. Bye. Peace. Ow! Podcast postscript blip blip. There is a website that wrote me. They are called Million Podcasts, and they're ranking podcasts now, and they ranked us up there around number 7. So they asked me to give them a shout out. I'm giving you a shout out, guys. Thanks a lot for the ranking. And go check them out. Just any kind of, I just Googled psychic podcasts, best psychic podcast 2025, and that site came up as like they have their SEO done really well, and they're right up there in the front. So I guess they're really trying to get in there. So give them some luck, man. They like us. If you like us, you might like them, and what other things I recommend. Thanks.